Crafters. Welcome to the Crafty Corner. My name is Miss Lisa, and we're here at the Fayette County Public Library with another craft for you today. It's almost Thanksgiving time, and if you have not read yet Pete the Cat and the First Thanksgiving, you need to come down to the library and get this book. It's actually a lift the flap book, so it's really pretty cool. So Pete the Cat, he's going to be in a class play, and they have assigned him to play the part of a pilgrim. And so you need to read the book to find out what adventures Pete the Cat has. It's awesome. Anyway, today we are going to make Pete the Cat. It's one of our favorite storybook characters, isn't he? So come down and get the packet, and let's put this craft together. In your packet, you are going to have some blue tissue paper. You are going to have a paper plate. You are going to have some blue and some white and some yellow. You're going to have a whole bunch of different pieces of construction paper. So the first thing that we are going to want to do is cut out that pilgrim hat. So we're going to take this big piece of black paper, and we are going to make a pilgrim hat. Now, the best way of making it look exactly the same on both sides is to give it a, don't fold it down, but you just want to fold it over so that the edges meet. And we're just going to go up about an inch and cut over about an inch. Okay, and then we are going to go up at a diagonal. Now we still want it pretty flat here at the top, so we don't want to cut all the way over, or you're going to have a really weird pointed hat. So we're going to come up and just go about like that. And there we go. We have a beautiful pilgrim hat. Now it will look a little more like a pilgrim hat once we get all the other pieces on. So the yellow is for the buckle. The white is for the stripe of hat that goes across here. So you want about 1 inch or so. So I'm just going to cut a 1 inch strip here. And I'm just going to go ahead and glue it down, because then I can turn it over and cut it off so that it matches just perfectly. All right, so we can take our glue stick, slather this white strip with some glue, and lay it on the pilgrim hat. There we go. Just make it nice and straight. Press it down. Perfect. Now, we can cut off the extra that we don't need, and the hat will look just perfect. All right. Make sure we throw any trash away. Now, to make the buckle, this is a little bit trickier. So you're going to want to cut out where that white strip was and leave a rectangle, leave a square around it. So I've laid my paper so that I'm about a 1/2 inch above, and then I can see where about the 1/2 inch below is. So I'm going to take my pencil here and just sort of draw a little bit. You want to go out about 3 inches and come back up. So I have a nice square. So I'm going to make this square here. Okay. And then you're going to want to cut out right where that white strip is. So I'm, with my pencil, I'm showing myself where the white strip is. And then I'm going to come down and make an inside square there. And now to cut that part out, remember we fold the paper in half, do a little cut with your scissors, then open it back up, put your scissors in that cut, and then you can go right to where your lines were and cut that inside out. And then we can glue it down, and we have the buckle part of the hat. Voila! Look at that. It's a little bit too much I cut out, but that's okay. So I'm going to take my glue and go all the way around, and voila, we have our Pete the Cat's buckle on his hat. Very cool. All right, then, since we are gluing on this curvy part here of the paper plate, you are going to want to use your white glue. And I'm going to just slather this white glue on here, and I'm going to come down about halfway. Okay, and come down about halfway. Just put a lot of glue on there. We're gluing that hat down. All right. Now, what we haven't done yet is Pete the Cat's ear. So before this really sticks really well, we need to go ahead and cut 2 triangular ears. So I'm going to cut this in half and lay the two pieces of paper on top of each other. And I'm going to cut a triangle. I'm going to cut it sort of big because I'm going to want to round it to make it more like a cat's ear. So now we have two that are exactly the same, and you can see that that's probably too big. So I am going to just try to follow my shape, but go a little bit smaller. And so before I do anything, before I go anywhere else here, I'm going to go ahead and get those ears tucked in there on that glue. And those are maybe a little too round for Pete the cat. I might need to, you know what I do? I think I need to point them a little bit more. So even though that they're glued there, oops, I can even maybe make them a little pointed. That's going to look a little bit more like a cat's ear. So even if it's glued in, you can adjust it. All right, I like that better. All right, so his ears are now glued in, and the hat is on. So now we get to make Pete the cat. All right, so you have your tissue paper, and I'm not sure if my workers are cutting the squares for you or they're just giving you a slice of paper. If they're just giving you a big piece of paper, you will need to make your own cuts. So I'm just going to make some strips of paper, strips of tissue paper here. And I'm not sure how much we need, but I know we have plenty. I'm going to lay those strips on top of each other. It saves work if you can layer things. Okay, so I'm going to layer all those, and then I'm just going to cut some fairly large squares so that we can make his face. All righty. Now what we want to do is actually use glue stick, because if you use the white glue, it will soak through that tissue paper, and then you're going to have blue all over your hands. So, oh, my glue stick's about gone. Good thing I have another one. All right. All right, I'm just going to do about half of that for now. So then you're just going to lay the tissue paper squares down all over the rest so that this white is not showing anymore. So while I'm laying this down, boys and girls, can you tell me maybe your favorite Pete the cat story? I know we've got on the bookmobile, like his one time when he eats some pizza. I know that he plays ball. I think he has some groovy shoes and some groovy buttons. I don't know. Pete the cat is just an awesome, awesome storybook character. So I thought it was a great idea this year to make him as part of my Crafty Corner. So you can see I'm just laying these down just in nice straight rows here. And I probably even need to make sure I cover all the way to the edge, and if it sticks off, you can always turn it over and cut it off later. So that helps it be all blue, just like Pete the cat's face. Oops, that one didn't go so well. Let's see if I can pick it up and move it. There we go. And it's okay to have them layered on top of each other a little bit. We just want to get all of his face covered up. Because Pete the cat is a blue cat, isn't he? All right, now we'll get the rest of it slathered with that glue stick. And here we go. Laying some more squares down. After we get the squares all down, we get to make his eyes and his little nose. What other storybook characters do you boys and girls like? I know on the bookmobile we also have Biscuit. He's a favorite. And Fancy Nancy. Oh, and Pinkalicious. Those are some very popular books. Fly Guy has been very popular recently too. He's a really cool little book character. All right, it looks like I've about got him covered up, and I probably had exactly what I needed in the cuts that I made. So wherever he's sticking out across the back here, he doesn't need to have all that hanging off. So I'm going to trim him up a little bit. Here we go. Take my trash and find a trash can. All right, now we have his face all blue. We need to make some cat eyes. So to make some cat eyes, you're going to have some black left over from your hat, and you're going to want to make 2 fairly large cat eyes. So we're going to, let's see what I can do here. All right, those actually looked out pretty good. Hey, and that's about the right size too, just for Pete the Cat. So you have enough paper left over from your hat to make his eyes. Now we're going to add a little yellow to the bottom of his eye. So I'm just going to, here, let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to lay this down so that the points are on either side of the paper, and then I'm just going to trace that right there so that I have the exact same shape. I'm going to cut that out, and that's going to be able to go right there. In fact, we need to sort of hollow it out. We're not going to make it straight across. I'm going to sort of make a smiley to cover there. Then I'm going to do the other eye the same way. Lay those points on the edge and trace that outline. So then we're going to cut around here and cut off the inside as well. All right, and glue those down with our glue stick. Just put the glue there and lay that yellow on there. Oh, I am sticky today, boys and girls. I'm going to turn the whole eye over and cover it with glue and put it down. Okay. Do that same for the other eye. All right, now what we're missing is we need 2 white triangles. And I want them to be almost exactly the same. So I'm taking my paper and folding it in half. I'm going to make a triangle. And that might be too big. Probably is. So let's trim it down. Just cut off one side just a little bit, and oops, we have some blue in his eye that needs to go away. All right. Put a little bit of glue on that. Turn it over. Put a little bit of glue on that one. Turn his eye over. All right, now we got these wonderful cat eyes. Only thing we're missing now is his nose. So I'm going to cut off a little piece of paper. And I'm going to make my triangle pretty big to start with. That's way too big, isn't it? So then I'm going to trim it down. And I think I've about got it where I like it. It's a little too pointy. Let's see if I can cut it down a little bit more. Okay, that's about perfect. So whatever nose you like, you just cut a triangle and stick him on there. And there we have Pete the Cat. Isn't he adorable? All right, boys and girls, come on down to the library and get yourself a Pete the Cat book. And if this book is in, you can get it and find out how Pete the Cat does in the school play as the Pilgrim. All right, thank you so much for watching here at the Fayette County Public Library. This has been the Crafty Corner, and I'm Miss Lisa. I will see you again next week. Bye now.